Hmm. Hey guys. Good morning. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Well, for a lot of you, it might still be the weekend, depending on where you are. For me, it's Monday morning, so good morning. Anyway, even if it's still Sunday for you, it's pretty much over. So hope you had a good weekend. Ready to start another week here. If you guys haven't seen around on different social media, on my Facebook page, Instagram page, I don't think I shared it on Twitter yet, but and then I shared it as a story on YouTube as well. I posted my schedule for streaming this week. It's going to be a little bit different timing than usual. This one is kind of my usual streaming time, but the rest of the streams for this week are going to be different times than usual because of Corona, basically. Not that it's affected me or anyone in my family, just that in our city where we live here, basically the entire time, like at the first start, like in March or something, maybe even in February. Yeah. Anyway, long way back at the start of it, there was like one case in our city, and then there hasn't been the entire time until just a few days ago, the end of last week, suddenly had a spike, an outbreak of a couple dozen cases, I think, now in our city. So still doesn't really affect me or my work, but it means that we don't really want to send our kids, our two kids, go to preschool and daycare. So we don't really want to send them. So they're there today, but then the rest of the week, they're not going to go. So I'm going to be hanging out during the day with them during the normal time when I'd be working, streaming, doing whatever. So after today, the rest of this week, I'm working on nocturnal hours, basically only working at night and just hanging out with the kids during the day, which is fine. I don't mind that. But so that's why the streaming schedule is a little bit different this week. So hopefully if you guys typically watch, like if you're in America, I usually try to stream so that it's in the evening in America for you guys, but it's going to be in the morning. So sorry if that doesn't work to your guys' schedule, but fortunately the streams are always saved. I mean, if you can't ever watch it live and you wanted to watch it, you can watch it later on if you can't catch it live. So that's what's going on this week. But yeah, like I said, you can check the schedule if you want. I'm building this guy, the Tri-Age Magnum, and also one of the Valvrave kits I'm going to build live. I'm building and reviewing two of them, but I'm just going to live stream the one, and the other one is I'll build off stream, just review them both. And then, yeah, tonight I have my episode of Plamo No Trend with Josh. So that is going to be this evening here. So later on this evening, I'll be live again with Josh. So check that out. For now, we're going to take a look at some cool works here submitted by some of my marvelous Patreon supporters. So if you guys are new to this series, haven't really seen it before, this is just something that I like to do just as a kind of reward, something for patrons, something to give back to patrons, offer some critique for some of their works, advice, whatever. A lot of these guys are better than I am, so it's not like I'm the pro and they're all the students. It's just to share some feedback. So I figure we can do that live, and we can take a look at these, sharing them with all the rest of you as well. And if you like to submit something for future episodes, and you'd like to help support me and everything that I do, you can check out my Patreon. Of course, the link is down below, all the videos. So let's get into it here, and we're going to take a look first at this is from Justin S. We've got two Justins. So this is Justin S. He submitted two works. So we're going to take a look at two of his. This is his one that he worked a lot more on, I think it's fair to say. His second one was that we're going to take a look at. You'll see it was more of like a palette cleanser kind of build. Ones that we do, in between long projects when you do something pretty short and sweet. Hey, Chris, what's up? So yeah, this is something Justin said, and let me see. Not all of the guys who submitted work also submitted some explanation about it, but some of them do and did, so I'll share that with you as well too. He said he worked on this for about 7 months on and off and added around 250 rivets in total. by hand, among other modifications. So other modifications you'll see as we go through some of these photos. And anyway, this is his Gyaradoga Kondo version. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the mecha design, I forget his name, Kondo. Anyway, if you just search Gundam Kondo, you'll see. Anyway, he does this style of work here, and is especially known, I think, probably for like his Gyaradoga, Sazabi, some of these Char's counterattack designs. So they usually feature this style of camo and some Zimmerit on there, very like muddy kind of with act. Anyway, he's not a Gunpla artist, as far as I know. I'm sure he probably makes some Gunpla too, but he's more well known for his illustration work. So let's check it out here for the Gyaradoga. As far as I can tell, we'll look through some of these. I don't think he did like any major modifications, like anything too crazy. It's more of changing some details, adding a bunch of details, things like that. And then obviously the very cool camo painting scheme on this. And it looks like, is that like some like camouflaging up there on top of the backpack? That's pretty cool. It's kind of like a net sort of camouflaging up there to use. And also the bazooka there, that's a bazooka from the Dwaj. That's cool. Very fitting design, I think, with the cloth covering on the bazooka. Sort of fits the Kondo style, I think, here, definitely. Oh, yeah, I haven't noticed this. I've seen some photos of this that he shared in our Discord, but I hadn't noticed this anime cutie decal there on the side of the shield. Is pretty cool. I can always appreciate a little cutie decal on there. He's got the kill markings on there as well too. That's cool. So it gives a kind of realistic tone, right? And Zimmerit too is something I've never tried. I would like to try it on something. And actually, that would actually work really well for an upcoming project that I need to work on a Dogram kit. So not too long ago, USA Gundam Store sent me a couple of weathering effect products to try, like mud, and I think the other one was something else. So I needed to try those, and I really wanted to work some more on the Dogram kit that I reviewed a couple months back. So I thought it'd be a good matchup to work on that Dogram kit with some mud effects and stuff. And actually, that would work really well too for what was I just talking about? So I just lost my train of thought. What was it? What was that? Zimmerit. Yes. Okay. Thank you. God dang. All over the place. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm sure it's been done before. I'm sure I would not be the first to do it, but I don't know if I've ever seen too many Dogram kits with some Zimmerit on there. So I think that should be pretty cool. Anyway, it'll be a good chance to try that out. I've never tried it before. So yeah, he added a bunch of rivets on here of different sizes, it looks like. Some small, medium, and large, basically, kind of. If it was me, I think I probably would have gone all rivets to all be the same size. It would have bothered me, I think, if they were all different sizes. 2 sizes maybe, but especially the large ones look quite large. So I probably wouldn't have done that. I would have stuck with just the smaller size, whatever. But also doing that kind of like rivet work, and that's kind of like getting into a little bit sort of steampunk style a little bit as well too. Is not really my style. So it's not really something that I'm too well versed in. Like I have not had a lot of like exposure to like what's good or not good for like steampunk kind of style stuff. And I like this added like tools here on the front as well too. I think these are from different like tank kits, basically. Some of these little parts. I'm sure a lot of the little parts that he's added on are from different tank kits and things like that, different scale models. So this one, I'm not exactly sure what that is supposed to be or is, but this little kind of tank on there, and yeah, the kind of bolt cutters or something it looks like on there. I imagine that's probably not what that is. Probably something else for a tank, but looks kind of like that. Oh yeah, and this little tube there in the center of the arm, that's added. The white ones there, that's stock to the kit, but is it? I don't remember. Does the Gyaradoga have this little like banded tube there in the center? I don't think so. I want to say that's probably added. But he also added some texture. I mean, aside from just the camo pattern, you'll see like the paint under that has some texture on it. So I think he did like, I'm not sure exactly how he applied it, but where you have like apply like thinned putty on there, sometimes done like with a sponge or with just like a brush or something, just to give it a little bit more texture on there. There's different ways to do that. I don't know if that's exactly how he did it, but just thinned putty, I think, is probably the most common way. And that's how I've done it before. But and I like the combination there of like, I believe that's a German decal, right? And then also with the Xeon logo there on top of that. It's a cool decal combination there. A little photo etch part here, like little hook on the front of the center of the chest there. I'm pretty sure that's probably photo etch a little detail. On the other little hook details on the top of the shield, on the front of the chest here, just to give it that sort of realistic, tanky kind of vibe. Yeah, let me see. Is there another? Okay, here's a better photo of this like camo net here up on top of the backpack. That's really cool. Sort of messes with the scale a little bit. I'm not sure if this is intended to be still like of the same scale, because when you start adding like some of these tank parts and stuff like that, that netting stuff, if you imagine like that is in scale, it's pretty huge. So I don't know if that is intended to still be in the same scale. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the comments a little bit. Sorry, Chris. Chris said you should do this with us for critique builds. Yeah. I'm open to that. Except you do it on Saturdays, though. I usually can't join any streams or do any streaming on the weekends unless it's like at night or something, Chris, because that's family time. And I like this addition here to the backpack as well. This sort of like box bit is like added around the sides of that. This center part is stock to the original backpack design. It has the thruster bells up and down. It also has thruster bells pointing out to the side as well originally, but he kind of blocked that off and then added this sort of effect along the edge there to simulate weathering, or not weathering, welding. And again, I know there's different ways to do that. I'm not sure exactly how he went about doing it, but I know you can do it with putty, or I think some people do it with super glue as well too, I believe, just sort of like dotting it along the edge there. And just the like bracket for holding the bazooka is pretty cool as well too. I like that. It just looks very simple, utilitarian, like you would imagine for something like that. It's just something that there's a big metal bars welded onto there, just something to hold the bazooka in place while it's going around. I like that. There you can see some of that texture. Pretty nice there on this side skirt. There, very cool. Here's a close-up of that anime decal. So I wonder what that's from. I wonder if he printed that. Probably. I'm guessing maybe he used some decal paper. Oh, here he is. Justin's here. Hey, Justin. You made it to, okay, yeah. So he said he made it to be a 1/35 scale. So he did intend to change the scale in it. Okay. I gotcha. And let me know how you did the decal as well too. I'm guessing you just had your own decal paper or maybe printed that out or something, but just curious about that. And then these bits here on the front of the legs, I believe those are just tank treads and a little bit of that wire mesh up inside there as well too. I kind of wish that the wire mesh covered this whole section instead of like half of this section. I don't know. I do kind of like that because it kind of seems like it's just like to cover some like brush or something from getting in there, you know, and maybe didn't need to go up the entire way. Because in 1/35 scale, I mean, I'm not sure how big exactly this would be, but the mud on there looks really nice. And it's kind of interesting to see this, you know, like super muddy, and then on just this white background. So I would think you would think to see this like on a little block vignette or something like that with a bunch of mud around the feet, but it's just funny to see it like not in mud, but just really muddy. Just kind of visually that what do I want to say? It's interesting. Drawing a blank on the word that I wanted to use on that, but here's a nice view from the top of that. Let's see. It's a Girls und Panzer decal. Ah, okay. So that was a decal from a Girls and Panzer kit. So I'm guessing that some of the tank parts are probably from a Girls and Panzer tank kit. I would assume probably too. And he said he's planning to do a whole diorama including tanks. Oh, okay. I think it's kind of cool just being like that on its own too, but it'd be cool in a diorama as well, sure. I like the antenna, the wire antenna added onto the side of the head as well too. It's nice. Ah, and this gun we haven't seen in previous photos yet. I guess we need to make our way through the rest of the photos to see this gun, which appears to be a modified 180 millimeter cannon from, I would assume, a master grade ground Gundam or ground Gym, one of those kits that comes with that gun. I'm not sure if the master grade EZ8 came with that gun as well too or not. I think maybe not, but could be wrong. All of those kits came with a pretty nice set of weapons. So there you go. And so I guess this on the side of the shoulder shield here meant to be sort of like a ladder kind of thing there for just crew access or something, I guess. Most of the parts are from a 135th Tamiya Panther. Oh, okay. So you said most of the tank parts are from a Panther kit. There you go. Very nice. And the LED added in there for the eye. I know this kit is made to take an LED, but I'm not sure if it's modified. It looks pretty bright. Justin, did you modify the mono eye at all? I'm wondering if you maybe switched out that part for maybe just like a fluorescent clear pink rod of piece of runner or something like that. It almost kind of looks like, instead of just like the stock piece painted in clear pink. I'm not sure. Looks pretty nice. But yeah, very cool. I always like to see a good unique style to a kit like this too. I mean, like tank style mobile suits, not, you know, unheard of, but it's cool. I like it. Let's see. I clear coated it with pink. Oh, so he said, so the mono eye is just the stock piece with just some clear pink on it. There you go. That works. And I wanted to say this too. I liked this part of the shield. I didn't notice if there was a better photo of this. I think this may be the best one on the set. This part up here added this like armor plating added up onto the top of the shield there is pretty cool. I like that. So there you go. There's his Gyaradoga. I think that's the best photo we have of the shield, the back side of the shield, but nothing really modified on that, I don't think. And he also sent one more kit too, so we'll take a look at that. Go away. As soon as these photos will open up. Open. These are going to be of an HG Barzam. And let me see if he added some more note about that. Just going through. The problem with my emails now is that my email is full of Mechatro contest entries as well too. So I have to kind of sift through those to find the emails that these guys sent for the critique. And he said about this Barzam build while we're waiting for that to open. It's been a long time since I attempted a box paint style. Oh no, why is it doing that? That's not right. Close that, please. Opening all the photos separately instead of all together. That's not right. First time he's attempted a box paint style. Oh, it's been a long time since he attempted a box paint style that's clean with no weathering. So if you guys have been watching these critique videos for a while, Justin's usually submitting some very cool work. But yeah, I don't think I have seen him do just something just clean, just original color scheme build, just out of the box build, as they're traditionally known. Before I perverted the out of the box build terminology. All right. So let's take a look at this. Sorry, when I downloaded the photos, they automatically went to cloud storage. So I had to re-download them again. Kind of annoying. All right. So here's the Barzam. Cool kit. I enjoyed this kit. So as far as I know, no modifications or anything too much with this. Just built and painted up in the original colors there. You can see maybe just a couple of decals, a couple added there on the legs. You got the Titans Test Team logo there, one added on the chest. I wonder what did you use for this really bright neon on the light on the camera there on the beam rifle, Justin? Is that fluorescent green paint? I wonder. It's very bright. Looks good. A couple of decals here added on the back of the leg there too, as well too. And like I mentioned before, this I think fair to say is one of those palette cleanser builds where, like after working on long projects, like he was working on the Gyaradoga for a long time, this is maybe something that he just kind of did as a side project, or afterwards is just something nice, fun, simple to use. I also wonder what color yellow that is. It looks like, let me see. I was actually super lazy and used the sticker. Is that a Titans Test Team sticker on the leg, not a decal? I wonder what yellow that is too, Justin. Is that character yellow? My favorite yellow? It looks like that. Let's see. I wonder what sticker he's talking about. Where are the stickers you're talking about? Because that looks very flat. The Titans Test Team. Is that a sticker on there and you just got like the top coat doing a really good job of hiding that? I wonder. But always nice to get a good, quick, simple painted build out of your system. That's good. Except I'm noticing someone was a little lazy on this seam line on the arm over here too, Justin. On the inside of the arm. This is one of those kind of like the HG Zaku kits that I'm always on about, the seam line on the arm. Like this kit was designed really well and seemed like they did a really good job on it, except I don't understand why they had seam line on that part of the arm, because that part, I remember it seemed like they could have designed this as just one piece to fit on there. And so it really kind of didn't make sense why there was a seam line there. Let's see. For the green, he said that was also mixed from yellow and red to me. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. No, he said the sticker is here. That one there. The camera on that is not fluorescent green or anything. That's a sticker for that. And he said the yellow is a mix from yellow and red. So it's just yellow with a little bit of red in it. And so basically the same kind of effect as the character red. Character red is just like a little bit slightly more orange. This one looks maybe, it's kind of hard to tell from the photos to be sure. This one looks maybe a little bit more orange than character yellow typically is, but similar kind of effect, which is why I love that color. But this is good too, just making your own basically. So it looks nice. I wonder what the black is, or the super dark. Is that like midnight blue or something? The darker blue color? Because it's not black, but I wonder if it's just like midnight blue, something like that. It looks like. And then the kind of medium blue color is quite nice as well too. It looks good. Let us know about those colors, Justin. They look pretty nice. The blue looks so familiar. Like I'm thinking, oh man, I know exactly what color that is. I'm sure I've used it before, but I don't know. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, looks like a Gaia color. Actually, I'm not sure if I've used a Mr. Color paint that's quite that color. Sort of like intermediate blue. Anyway, yeah, good, nice. I like it. I'm still surprised though that this green is the sticker. He must have caught the light just right. And maybe what he was doing, maybe because it's a white backdrop down here, it's catching just a solid white reflection on the sticker, which will make it glow like that. Because straight black primer. Surface Surf 1500 with flat coat. Oh, really? That dark is just black. That's surprising. I guess it is lightened quite a bit by the flat coat. Oh, interesting. Doesn't look like straight up black, does it? I guess, yeah, maybe. In some of the photos, it looks more black. Okay, yeah, I guess I can see it. It looks not quite black before, but fair enough. The main blue is Tamiya medium blue with a few drops of black and regular blue. Okay, so just custom mix that up a little bit. Nice. But yeah, what I was going to say about the camera, sometimes when I'm taking photos of something and I want to get a nice reflection on a part like that, what you can do, if this was not with using a white backdrop, just out of frame, so like just so it's not in the photo, you can stick just a white piece of paper or something. Or oftentimes I'll just use the manual, the manual that comes with the kit, because it's mostly white. Obviously, it's got a bunch of stuff printed in there, but it's mostly white I'll use to lay down in front of the kit for to get that bounced light on that. And so if you have a reflective sticker or something like that, it'll catch the light really nicely. Works also really well for eye stickers when you're photographing your kits. If you really want to catch that, or if you're using the foil stickers or whatever to get that reflection on the eyes, and you're trying to take a picture and it's not really, you're not really getting the eyes to be lit up or reflecting, just stick a white piece of paper or something like right in front of the kit, but just so it's not in the shot, and you should be able to get a little bit nice reflection of the light bouncing off the paper, shining on the eyes a little bit. Just a little tip for you guys. All right. Thank you, Justin. As always, awesome work. That's cool. Good to see you just take a break with just a little bit more simple build there as well, too. Very nice. All right. The next one we have from Greg. How many do we have here in total today? 6 people to take a look at today. Greg. Here we are. With his Sazabi. This is the Master Grade Ver.Ka Sazabi. Let me just get this opened up. And I'll read you guys what he wrote about his Sazabi here for us. Here we go. All right. Greg said, this was my second paint up. So I went to town around with mixing colors for the different shades of red. The paint I used is my usual Tamiya acrylics. And this was done on my old airbrush, not my newer one. Okay. So it's his second painted kit, second fully painted kit. So let's take a look at this. You guys have heard me talk about this in different videos in the past about me being not really a fan of these Xeon relief parts that you can get, like builder's parts. But this is one of those times when I think it works pretty well, right on the center of a big shield like that. Obviously, it's going to fit pretty good. So I think that looks good on there. And we just got a couple of photos here to look at. And so yeah, he said he mixed up some different colors to get the different shades of red and everything on here. My first thought, like from the front, it's not as noticeable. I think just maybe also because the lighting is a little bit dark. Under brighter, like more even lighting, I think probably would be more noticeable. At the moment, it's not that noticeable, but I wanted to say that the contrast is a little bit stark with how dark the darker shade of red is, because he's basically got 3 tones of red. I think basically you can see here really well. The light red, medium red, and dark red. The dark is very dark, so it's a little bit too dark for my taste when doing like the different color tones like this, like with this kit. Or actually, I don't remember how many color tones this kit has. The RG has 3, but the Master Grade Ver.Ka I don't remember. When doing the different like RG style, different color tones, you want to keep them pretty close. This one's a pretty stark difference there, which, I mean, if it's a style in like a stylistic way, that's what you're going for, that's fine. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't really like the colors to be that stark difference. And the light color is not, I mean, the difference between the light color and the medium color is not as stark. It's not, the contrast there is not so high, but there's quite a bit of difference in like the color value. This medium red color is like very rich, and the light red is very desaturated. So like the difference is a little bit different there. It's not like super contrasty. It's just the value is very different. So what you can do, and I think probably this is a mistake that a lot of people will often run into. I'm not sure because I don't, hear from a ton of different people about how they do this. But just from what I can tell from when I see people's different works like this, and their multiple color tones don't match really well. What I'm guessing they do is that they actually use different colors. So, like for example, you use the 3 different red colors. So let me just grab just for a visual example, so I can give you something more. And I can name like specific colors. So say, for example, you used russet, which is like kind of darker, and then red matter, which is kind of medium, and then character red, which is slightly lighter than that, very slightly different. And you think, oh, okay, it's a good kind of like darker, medium, and a little bit lighter kind of color. But they're not always going to necessarily match well, because one might also be like a little bit more warmer or cooler, and like the color tone, or like the value, like I'm talking about, could be a little bit more like desaturated kind of color than what. So oftentimes what's kind of the easier way to go about making sure your colors all match really well is just to use one color and use that for the medium one, add a little bit of something to lighten it up a little bit, and it doesn't really matter what you use. If it was red, I wouldn't necessarily use white. I would maybe add like a little bit of like a light tan or something to it, just like a couple of drops to just alter the same color a little bit for your lighter color. And then for the darker tone, use the same color as well too, just darken it with something a little bit. You have to pay attention to what you're lightening and darkening it with as well too. If you darken it with like a dark blue, obviously it's going to change the color quite a bit. But oh, it's a mosquito. It's going to get me later. That is a good way. Instead of using 3 different colors, use one color and just alter it. Either lighter or darker, however you want to do that. So just some advice for the future. And I'm not sure exactly how, if Greg's in the chat, so he can answer this for us, if this is done with 3 different colors, or if he did it like that and maybe just the colors that he used to mix gave him these results. But also, it looks like there's also a difference in the top coat. Like the shield definitely looks glossy, and it's hard to tell. I think the red, like the medium red, looks more glossy than the light red. The light red looks a lot more matte finish in comparison. And so I'm not sure if that was done like intentionally, like the top coat that he used different top coats, or I'm not sure. So Greg can answer that for us in the chat. But otherwise, I don't think there's any other really modification to the kit other than that. I mean, just the Xeon logo there, Neo Xeon logo added onto the shield, and just decals and stuff. The decals are all the decals that come with the kit, I believe. Are they right? I believe so. My chat's lagging behind. It often does that. It's kind of annoying. The chat that I can see here, well, oftentimes it'll just like stay on there for like a few minutes, and then all of a sudden it's like 20 messages all load at once. Kind of annoying. So sorry if you're sending messages. I'm not seeing it quite yet. I guess I could check it out on my phone. Maybe it would be faster. Let's see here. Make sure that's muted. And live chat. Okay. Yeah, it's actually, well, it just loaded on my computer as well too. Anyway, he said, I used a bit different colors and I went to town with gloss and matte finishes. Yeah, so he intentionally used different gloss and matte finishes for that, which again is a kind of stylistic thing. I think, let's see, it did have some problems with the black. It got glossy around the edges. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Why it looks like, matte, but then like there's some parts which look a little bit glossy. So what I'm guessing maybe is what happened is that your clear coat pooled up a little bit around the edge, probably when you were spraying the part. It maybe like started to drip and pool a little bit. And so even though it's a matte finish paint, just because of the thickness of that, because it was pooled around the edge there, it still kind of looked a bit glossy, is what I would guess is what happened. I could be wrong about that, surely, but I think for a second painted build, it's definitely quite nice in just that it's good that you're trying some different experimenting with different top coats and with different color tones and stuff like that. So it's good that you're trying new things, and on a big kit as well too. It's a big one to take on. Are the yellow parts painted or are the yellow parts unpainted? I'm wondering, Greg, because it's kind of hard to tell. They look a bit like maybe they're not painted, but I'm not sure. Then this part, I don't remember on the original kit. These piping around the neck were also yellow on the original kit as well too, weren't they? Maybe he just didn't want those to be yellow. No, I don't know. Actually, no, I don't remember. Okay. Yeah. So he said the yellow is not painted, which is fine. I've done that before on my old GPO4 and GPO5 painted builds that I did as like a set, painting those up. 7 years ago, when I was living in Japan, before I was doing YouTube stuff. Those, you can find photos of those on like my old blog, and there's photos of those around online. Anyway, those were probably some of my early painted builds as well too. Maybe not like second, but like third, fourth, or fifth painted build like that. And I did the same thing. I didn't paint the yellow parts because there's just a couple little tiny yellow parts on there on those builds, and I really liked the color that they were, and so it seemed kind of like a waste to just repaint them in like the same color when it's just a couple little tiny bits, sort of similar like this. So I've been there, done that. There you go. I like it. Nice one, Greg. So yeah, the mixing of different top coats is something that I've also tried before, and I like that. Depending on the design, it works well with some designs to give it a cool kind of stylistic look to it. So very cool. All right, let's see who's next. I think it's Petro. Or no, maybe not. Is Brian. I think Brian's still there in the chat, so take a look at these. Pull this up. There you go. Let me check what Brian said about these. This is the Force Impulse that I built, and Travis is the new Gundam, both RGs. Okay, so just a couple of RG kits that he and his partner had worked on here. Let's see, they opened out of order, but the Force Impulse and the new Gundam. So you got the effect parts for the new Gundam there as well. And these are both, I believe, completely unpainted, just with some panel lining and sticker decals on them. Basically, I believe. I'm not sure if they did do, and Brian's here in the chat, so you can answer that. But if you did do any a little bit of painting on these, I'm not sure. I don't remember. But I can tell just from like past works that they've submitted compared to now, it's looking a lot better, much cleaner than before. The panel lining looks pretty clean, and the stickers look well applied on there. We only have a couple photos to go off of here, so I can't see around super well, but from what I can tell, it looks pretty good. I think maybe a little bit of panel lining here in the shield vent that needs to be cleaned up a little bit there. It could just be some weird shadow or photo artifact or something, but oh yeah. So looks like you said there's not any painting on them. So maybe just the panel lining and the sticker decals on there. So maybe a little bit of panel lining to clean up in there, but I gotta say, definitely overall looks improvement over past submissions. So it's looking good. The pose is pretty good too, with the effect parts there as well. Very nice. I maybe tweak the pose slightly. There's some things that you can do. It kind of depends on exactly kind of the pose you have in mind. If you want like it to look sort of like that it's flying in one direction, then the legs will be like lined up like that. But if you want it to look like he's just flying and then like stopped and shooting, then the legs would be more wider apart, I think, usually. So it depends on which pose you're going for, and so it's a little bit hard to tell which one. So it looks a bit awkward. The legs are not quite lined up, but yeah. Anyway, so there's a little bit tweak to the leg pose. If it was me, I would go for just like that he's stopped and shooting, because that's what it kind of makes sense to me. He's got the funnels are going around, he's blocking with the shield and stopped and shooting. So in that case, I would make the legs point out. I wish I had something on hand to show you what I mean. Let me see. We'll do it live. A little live demonstration here using the Beyond Duel Gundam here. So if you wanted a pose like that, let me just try to do something similar here just for a demonstration. Let me see what he's got going there. Oops. Whoa. So like this, if he's like stopped and shooting, the legs would be more spread apart like that. Alternatively, if you're going for like a flying and shooting pose, then I think maybe bring the front knee up a little bit more. Maybe something like this. Does that make sense? Yeah. Again, I'm just kind of doing this on the fly, so bear with me. But yeah, anyway, just a small note about the pose. But the pose of the Force Impulse does look pretty nice there. I think everything's lined up pretty cool on that for kind of juking pose, dodging and shooting at the same time. There you go. The foot pointed down there looks a bit awkward. It looks like it's pointed a little bit too much down. I know that this kit does that as part of the transformation, but when it's not transformed, it looks maybe a bit too pointed, but otherwise it's a pretty dynamic pose there for that. And is this photo reversed, or are the weapons reversed? Usually the shield's on the other arm and the gun's on the other arm, but you reversed it up, or the photo's reversed, which I don't think so. I think you just switched the shield and the rifle. Why not? It's cool. Just do it different. Was going for, okay, here we go. He said he was going for, I guess, regarding the pose of the new Gundam. He said he was going for oh crap, they're shooting back. Yeah, in which case I think the stopped pose with the legs more spread apart is probably what you want to go for with that to really sell the pose on the. Yeah, but good, nice. Thank you, Brian, as always, for the submission. Yeah, definitely improving. So that's good. Just keep at it. All right, let's see. Jeremy is next here. Jeremy, I'm not sure if Jeremy's watching live now. Let me get these opened up. He's got some Advance of Zeta stuff for us to check out. Let me add this. A Hazen 2. And painted, and let me see. I don't think he did any custom panel lining. Oh, no, I think this is added panel lining on here, isn't it? I don't believe the original kit had this panel lining on there. So yeah, he did do a little bit of custom panel line scribing on there to give it some different color tones. And I was looking at this build, I was thinking like changing like Advanced Zeta designs like this. I don't think, like, in my personal taste, I wouldn't be so open to like the different color tones like this on Advanced Zeta, just because I love so much how Advanced Zeta kits look just as they are, like in their original color schemes. And like I see some cool custom color schemes from time to time, but changing them up too much oftentimes doesn't work for me. But I like this. I think the color tones are subtle enough here. How the white is not a super bright white, it's like a light gray, and with the looks like there's some shading on there a little bit as well too. And that light gray, it works pretty well for that. And like the rest of the colors are all pretty standard to how they should be. I think he added a little color separation as well here on this front skirt section also, with some scribing, adding the 2 tones on there. But otherwise, most of it is pretty much as it's meant to be. Let me see. And he did provide some explanation. Let me see. Go back to his email again here. I was hoping for a little direction on scribing choices. I tried to be a little aggressive on the changes with this kit. I also had some difficulty making clean scribes when they are 1 millimeter or larger. Made some custom magnetized fuel tanks for the outer boosters, out the backpack parts, for my parts bin and Kotobuki parts. Have some mixed feelings about them after I was finished. Before I read the rest of the email, let's get to that, because looking at the kit, I also had kind of mixed feelings about it. Like I said, like doing modification to the color scheme or the design of Advanced of Zeta designs, more often than not, doesn't work for me personally, in my opinion, just because I love the original design so much. This one, I think the general idea of adding these fuel tanks on here is not bad. It's just that I feel like the aesthetic of these particular fuel tanks don't really necessarily match the Advanced Zeta style very well, because the vent style is different, and like this ribbed detail here is not something that you typically see that kind of decal with that kind of detail on Advanced Zeta kits. So I think the idea is fine. I think these particular fuel tanks don't really match the style, the design style of the rest of the build. So they look a little bit awkward. Yeah. I think probably would have gone with like fuel tanks with less, just like in general, very little detail on them. Probably would I think fit the Advanced Zeta style a little bit more. Having them look like just very simple, just kind of things just added on that can be, ejected once they're done. Just a little work in progress photo here to see the colors. The colors look really nice. Yeah, he changed the colors from the original design, but still stuck with something similar anyway, so I like it. And there's the full loadout there with the Hurdudu parts on there as well. Yeah, looking very nice. I like that. And let me see, is there a better picture we can see this nice decal there, the AOZ decal there on the front of the composite shields? Maybe this one? Can't see it too clearly, but still cool decal on there, down there. Looks nice. And I don't know, I was just thinking like whether I like it, just photography wise, whether I like it with the black or the white background. It looks cool with the black background, but it looks really good with the white background as well too. I really like how it brightens it up again here as well too, because I think I can see the colors a little bit more clearly and kind of appreciate them here as well too, though. Just kind of can appreciate the design with just the black background. So and this part I'm not sure, but you can see this kind of like a little bit wavy kind of looking pattern here on that part. I believe that is from just the sinks in the plastic, the way that part is molded. So I think you could probably get rid of that if he would have sanded that a bit more, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but just based on what I remember of this kit, I think it had that. It had some pretty nasty sinks on that part of the plastic. So it just needs some more sanding to get rid of that. It's not very noticeable, just something to note there. But yeah, the pre-shading on there also looks nice. Let me see. Get back to his email. What else did he say about this? Also, I'm trying to improve on taking better pictures, so I got a basic photo box and have been so it's trying with different color backgrounds and angles. So yeah, I think the photography itself is looking pretty nice. The lighting is pretty good. In between, whether you're using the white or black, like I said, I kind of like them both. So I would say, there's no reason you can't take both. So I mean, as you go forward on future builds as well too, stuff, take some with the black background, take some with the white background. It's all good. I'm wondering if that's the little green stickers on there, using the little green foil sticker there for the cameras on that part, which and then makes me wonder if he used that on the head as well too, which it looks like maybe possibly did. That's especially for head cameras like that. I mean, using the stickers, and like we saw earlier, Justin's build using the foil sticker for the camera on the rifle as well too. I think a lot of people will just dismiss foil stickers, especially more seasoned builders. We'll just throw away the foil sticker straight away. But especially for cameras and stuff like that, like they look perfectly good. Just use them for like color correcting stickers or something. If you had like a sticker on like this vent on the shoulder here, which is yellow, if there was a yellow sticker to cover that, then obviously it wouldn't look very good on a painted build. But even on like a painted build, just using the stickers there for the camera lenses and stuff, I say go for it. I don't often do it, but it works. They work well enough to give you a good look on that. Are there any go-to angles or background choices you make based on a kit's color palette? He asked. Not really, I would say. Not particularly. Also, anything else you can see that needs improvement would be greatly appreciated. Don't hold back, please. Keep making awesome content. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that is as far as the first thing you wanted to know about too was just the panel lining. And just to get back to his custom scribing on here, I think it looks pretty good. It looks like pretty in line with the design pretty well. Not like too overboard. If it would have had just lines all over the place, it really would have taken away from the original design too much, I think. But because it's pretty minimal, it's just a couple of lines here just to break up the space a little bit is kind of fine. And then the way the lines go around this front skirting section as well too, also here seems like it makes sense. It breaks up the space, but it's kind of a nice even break, like sliced right through the center of that. If it would have broken it up into like 3 or 4 sections, you got to look a little bit more section over here. Just a little bit, but it's just like a tiny little bit there. If you would have broken up this section into like 3 or 4 sections instead of basically 2 halves, then that would have been, I think, too much. But because it's, basically here on the shoulder art as well too, it's just one panel line here just to break that, and then here on the legs just a little bit just to break that. So I think the panel lining, the custom panel lining scribing done to this, I think is a good amount of adding just a little bit more detail from what the original kit had, but not going too overboard. Because again, I think for these Advance of Zeta designs, they're so stylistic in them already. And maybe it's just me, but like straying too far from the original design just starts to look not good really quickly. It's really easy to mess up an Advance of Zeta like custom build by adding, too much to it or changing it too much from the original design. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. I don't know why I don't really have that with other series as much. It's not like with the, I don't know, for example, like the GP series, like the GP01, 02, 03 or something, like seeing some really crazy custom builds of those, I think wouldn't really look as off to me as if I was seeing this and like completely different colors and like changing up a bunch of parts or something on it. So kind of weird. It's a unique kind of feeling, I guess, on the Advanced Zeta designs. You guys feel that too? You know what I'm talking about? But there you go. Oh, Jeremy's here. You made it just as I'm just kind of finishing up talking about your build here. Sorry, Jeremy. You can go back and watch it some more later to see some more of that. But overall, I think it's nice. Yeah. I agree with you that the fuel tanks maybe don't match up super well. But everything else I think is pretty good. And just the painting in general does look nice. The shading on that looks smooth. Looks good. I like it. Again, also, we don't really see a whole lot of Advanced Zeta stuff with some pre-shading. I think for the most part, a lot more people will just paint them up in just like nice solid colors. So it's a good, interesting change of pace to see one with some pre-shading for a change. Wouldn't necessarily say that I like it more one way or the other. Again, I think probably just the solid colors is what works best for me personally, what I would do and what I would prefer. But it's always good to see something different too. So there we go. All right. Let's see. We've got a few more here. Next is William. Okay, let's see. William. With his MG Duel Gundam Assault Shroud. Fantastic kit. Let's see, not that. Here we go. Where's the front photo? I guess, here we go. It's a good one to start off with. So let's see what he wrote about this. William said, thanks in advance for reviewing it. By the way, let's see, I just got back in. Oh, okay. He wrote a little message in his email, but not really related to the kit. So without knowing anything else about it, let's just go off of what we can see here in the photos. And first off, obviously you went for a different color scheme, and I always like a good gray color scheme. So I can appreciate that. Just kind of white and gray with some blue accents. Looks pretty nice for the Duel Gundam. And I'm not sure if he was intentionally going for like a, what's that, deactive? Because I forget that these seed designs, they have like a deactive form where they're meant to be all gray, but because he's got the blue accents on there, I'm guessing that maybe that's not what he was going for. He just wanted just a gray color scheme for this. Either way, I'm just saying. I am not really a fan. Again, this is in most cases, I'm not really a fan of dual wielding guns like that. Because more often than not, it seems to me like that it's not really something that made sense for like the build or like for the design that you were going for, how you wanted to customize it, but more so that like the kit comes with two weapons and you like both the weapons, so you want to have the kit having both weapons at the same time. And this is something that when I was in school, my filmmaking professor used to say all the time, was that sometimes you have to kill your babies, meaning that you have, in the creative process, you have things that you make or things that will be really nice, that you like and are good, but they don't necessarily fit into the project. And so sometimes you have to cut the things that you might really like and have an attachment to. So I agree. And this is a tough one because this kit, I really like both of these weapons as well. And actually, come to think of it, did that kit include that bazooka? I'm suddenly now questioning myself. I don't remember if that kit included the bazooka or not. I think maybe it did. Yes, actually. Anyway, yeah, the beam rifle design and the bazooka are both really cool designs. So it's kind of a shame to not use one of them. But for me, I think typically what looks better for Gunpla is to not load them up with weapons in both hands like that. Of course, you have some exceptions like the Full Armor Thunderbolt Gundam or something, which has like weapons kind of in both hands, has like the missile launcher pod like in one hand, but that's a little bit kind of different anyway. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Okay, William is in the chat. Hey, William. Okay, so if we have any questions about that, you can chime in on that. Also, William, how is this painted? Airbrush or spray can? Oh, it doesn't look hand painted, but it also does look like maybe there's a little bit of like filtering done on it a little bit. Unlike the white, it looks like the white is like a little bit dirtied up with a little bit of maybe some filtering on that, but I'm not quite sure if that's what that is or not. But otherwise, I mean, just like the painting application, whether it's by airbrush or spray can, looks pretty good. Panel lining, just the color placement, I mean, just the layout of the colors, I think is good. Having like the main mobile suit underneath being like mostly white and black in there, and then like all of the added armor parts being in that gray. It makes sense. It's good. It does look like maybe, I'm not sure. The colors of the weapons and the color of the armor is the same gray or not. Also, something that I typically tend to avoid doing, using the same color for the weapon as the same color for the like one of the colors on the mobile suit. In some cases, yes, but especially like this, where you have a lot of gray on the mobile suit and then the weapon's also gray, I would have gone a little bit different color gray, and it looks like it is. So this is not necessarily related to this build because I think it is two different colors of gray for like the armor and then the weapons. But just as a side note for anyone else out there, just I wouldn't use the same color gray for that. And he said it's airbrushed with all Tamiya acrylics. There you go. And decal work also looks good. I think those, I'm not sure. I think if I remember correctly, this kit did come with a few dry transfer decals, but no water slides, surely. But these numbers and stuff, I'm sure, are just all from different decal sets. Doesn't look like maybe any of these decals are from the original kit. Because like I said, I think it comes with some dry transfers, but I'm not seeing them on here as far as I can tell. But I think the decals in general looks pretty good. They're not plastered all over the place, just a few here and there. So like they're there, but not overpowering anything. So that's good. I like that. And let's see. Yeah, he said I used 4 different grays, and the armor and the weapons are different grays. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they look similar, but yeah, I can tell they're a little bit different there. And so I'm guessing maybe like there's the gray for the inner frame, the gray for the added armor, the gray for the weapons, and then the fourth one, I'm not sure. Maybe a secondary color for some parts on the body, maybe those parts that look black maybe are just like a really dark gray. They just look darker because of the photos. There's the mosquito again. Oh no, I gotta catch it before it gets me. Where'd it go? Damn, went away again. But yeah, this one as well too. I would just maybe tweak the pose a little bit as well too. can give it. Pull out our demonstration Gundam here. Posing demonstration Gundam. It's good to have on hand, I guess. Let me see here. I know the bazooka can be a bit awkward as well too, because he's got the cannon on the shoulder. So it's kind of hard to get the bazooka up on the shoulder as you would typically have it, because he's got the cannon there. But let's see here. Bear with me. So with the legs on that, look a bit. Let me just try to see. Looking back at the photos again. And the whole kit, I'll bring it up for you guys to see what I mean. The whole kit looks like a bit leaning forward, and the legs look a bit, kind of a little bit bent there in the knees. So what I would recommend is first off to make the legs, move the shield there, straight in the knee. And then you want to have them going a little bit forward in the legs so that like the crotch is a little bit thrusted forward slightly. And it's going to be kind of hard to see. And then back in the body and forward in the stomach articulation. And I know it's kind of looking goofy. There we go. Show you what I mean here. So you get kind of an S curve on like the chest, stomach, crotch, legs, like that. Anyway, for doing that type of standing pose. And then you also want to angle the legs out a little bit, not being straight on. Angle them out a little bit, and then also out a little bit like a TP, a little bit, sort of to have them a little bit more spread apart. And anyway, something sort of like that. Again, looks kind of awkward how I'm holding it, but anyway, you guys can get what I mean, just to get a little bit more of that powerful stance look like that. If you have this big armored up Gundam with tons of weaponry and stuff like that, you want him to look very powerful. So you got to make sure that you got a good stance that's making him look very powerful. And also the head down as well too. Have that chin down, eyes up look. You guys remember that was it Mega 64 video? You guys ever watch that channel? I'm pretty sure the channel is still around. I haven't watched. I don't like keep up with it. I haven't keep up with it in years, but they probably still do this, I guess. But what I knew their channel for was for like the video game, like parody videos and stuff. But they had a great chin down, eyes up video as well too, which I love. Classic. Oh, he said it can't hold the bazooka at all, so it's leaning on him. Well, there you go. That's something else that you could do then, because it can't hold the bazooka very well. Just turn the bazooka around, just have it sat on the ground. So do like the pose like I was talking about, and then with the hand, have the hand just like holding the barrel bazooka. So like the butt of the bazooka is on the ground, and it's just like standing up, kind of like how we saw the Hazen's Blade 2 in the last build, how it's got the rifles, the long composite shields just standing up, just holding onto the blades, basically, kind of like that. Do that with this bazooka. Could be a cool pose for this. Then you don't need to worry about it, not being able to hold it well, or having to get it up over the shoulder, which, like I said, it can't do because of the cannons there. Just have it just standing and holding it. And then the rifle on the other hand, I also think that would also kind of solve the issue that I mentioned before about not me personally not caring for Gundam's holding two weapons in the hands like this. He's got one weapon in the hand and the other one just kind of just like holding it there. So he's not looking like he's actually like going into battle with both of them in the hand, but just like standing. I think could look pretty cool. So this oak trees, what Zach described as the default power stance. Yes, power stance, exactly. So I would give it a power stance. Maybe put the bazooka on the ground and just have it holding it up, head down, eyes up. I think, yeah, that would look probably good stance for this. It looked good up on the shelf like that. And let me see here. pull this up here for you guys. This one. Don't watch it now, but pull it up and watch this later. This video. Mega 64, chin down, eyes up. It's hilarious. Classic video. When was that? 2013. Damn. Okay. So yeah. That's a good run. All right, let's move on then. Chris said hero stance. Yeah. Or the dick out stance, I think was what Josh and I like to call it as well too. That's when you get like really extreme with it. That's the dick out stance. All right, and then I think this is the last one. Let me see. We got through everyone. Yep, this is the last one. Is Justin T. We saw Justin S's work. Now we'll take a look. Justin T. This will be our last one for today. And he also submitted 2 kits in here, right? Yep, 2. I think one is a work in progress. 1 finished and 1 work in progress. Yes. Okay. So let me pull this up here for you guys. First one is a custom Zabanya, I believe, right? Leave and go in the hush now. No, don't watch it right now. Watch it later. Okay. Justin said, 2 of my recent works started doing custom detail work on Gunpla this year. The first is the Zabanya Saga, okay, which uses the base of the Zabanya and parts from the Justa cannon. The chest is partially scratch built, and the second is his current work in progress on the Shining Gundam. Some custom work done on the chest, backpack, and shoulders. The main kit used was the Shining Gundam, Strike Freedom, Strike Gundam. Not shown are the forearm armor plates. Those need to be glued on after painting. Okay, so we'll take a look at the Zabanya Saga here first. So yeah, he's making it to be a little bit more like the Cheridum Saga, but with the Zabanya. And then using the Justa cannon backpack. So mixing of different Gundam universes here a little bit. UC and 00. Not always easy to do, mixing universes just because of the style. Like a lot of UC stuff might not match up in like the style really well with stuff from 00, but it works, I think, in this case. Let's see, is there a shot where we can see the back side of it? Here we go. There you go, from the back, so you can see. And then with the, are those funnels, or what are those called? No, they're called something else. Dragoons in 00? No, that's Seed. They're called Dragoons, right? What are they called in 00? Are they just called funnels? Maybe they are. I don't remember. So first off, I like the colors. Here's a good example of the hero stance, aka dick out stance. Anyway, there's a good example for you. It's done pretty successfully here. So you can see the feet are wider apart. The legs are turned out a little bit. It's got the head down, the crotch thrusted forward. So there you go. I like that. It's pretty good. And with the dual, see, this is an example of where the dual wielding makes sense because of the same gun and the like kind of pistol style. So it's like a kind of typical style dual wielding pistol kind of design. It's one of those ones where I think it does suit the design to do a dual wielding like that. And I'm wondering what weapons are those? What are those from the Zabanya? I'm not familiar with enough. I guess they probably are. That they have the clear part on the bottom side of those kind of the pistols. I guess they're are they rifles or pistols? They're a bit large to be pistols, but a little bit small for rifles. So I don't know. Anyway, guessing those are from the original Zabanya kit. Bits, someone said. Okay, there you go. Fangs. Yeah, I know on some of them they were fangs, but I thought those were like on just some of the other like. Especially the throne kits had the fangs, but anyway. I mean, I'm wondering, are those legs also from? I need to pull up a picture of what the Zabanya kit looks like because I'm not familiar with it enough to know what's custom and what's not on this. So Let me pull this up. Okay, so no, the legs are okay. Most of the design, okay, I can see. The shoulders, the front skirts, the legs, that's all pretty much standard to the original design. Okay, I got it. But you can see he's added the grenade racks from the Justa cannon there on the side of the legs as well too, which I think fit perfectly well to the design. It's a very like a firepower centered design, of course, with the cannons, the pew pew guns. So adding some more just the little grenades there on the side of the legs, those fit pretty well. And just like the visual style, because you know the legs here have this kind of angular, blocky style to them. So adding this part, the grenade rack is this same kind of visual style. Their angular, blocky design just fits well there on the legs, so that's good. I'm going to guess. Again, I'd have to pull up. I could close the photos, but I would guess that those are little bits of plot plate maybe added onto here on the front of the knee, like those little rectangle bits. So it looks like maybe he did a little bit of plot plate detailing up. And I know he said he did some detailing up here on the front of the chest as well too. So a little like part of that is partially scratchable, he said. And I think the little fins on the top of the head are also added in there, aren't they? I don't believe that I saw those on there. Oh, the arms are the Justa cannon arms, aren't they? It's got the big, massive shield part there on the back side of the arm. Okay, I think HG. I need to pull up the photo of the Zabanya again. Should just keep this open so I can refer back to it. But yeah, the arms are swapped out, aren't they? There you go. That's cool. Yeah, those also fit. I mean, the two designs have a similar enough visual aesthetic design that swapping some of those parts, the grenade racks, the arms works well pretty seamlessly. The backpack as well too. Oh, the fins on the top of the head aren't added. It does have those on, doesn't it? Okay, so my mistake. He didn't add those, but it's a cool detail. I like it. But just looking at the original kit here, so you can see like the center part of the torso is what's changed, especially, and like the parts added. Let's see. Like these parts here on like the front of the chest are kind of like from the Justa, the top of the chest and the front of the chest here. So just kind of a mix and match of some of the parts here, and then also a little bit of scratch building on some of this center area as well too, it looks like, for making that. So pretty cool. I like that. Color choices is good. The different tones of green and gray are pretty nice. Let's see, zoom in too much there. Those look pretty good. With a little bit sort of like more olivey, almost a little bit, almost to brown kind of color there for some of the color there on the legs. You can see it's basically got three different colors of green. It's like light green, darker green, medium green, and then also a little bit of this brownish kind of color as well too, which fits pretty good. I think that's pretty nice. So pretty cool, I gotta say. Kit bash here. It's nice. Okay, well, let's take a look at his Shining Gundam here as well too. Just want to make sure. Look through these photos again. Yeah. Make sure. Covered everything on those. I think so. The decals, I'm not sure. I'm guessing those are just so a mix of just some generic decals and some of the actual like a celestial being decals and stuff. I'm guessing are maybe from some other kit or something. But those all work pretty well, I think. Okay. As for his Shining Gundam here, so you can definitely tell that chest is a custom chest from the Freedom Gundam, he said. And then he said he also used some parts from the Strike, it looks like, for the legs. So the leg parts are made from the Strike. Torso from the Freedom Gundam. And he said the covers for the parts on the side of the arm are not added on because he'll have to add those on later. As mentioned, he also customized the shoulders a little bit. If you guys saw, when was that? in a recent video, I can't remember when it was exactly I was talking about that, but I was talking about the Shining Gundam and how I really like the Shining Gundam designs. The only thing that I don't like about it that always throws me off is the shoulders, how they're just like these massive, big, blocky shapes. Just like this big box on top of his arm. It just looked kind of weird. Never really liked it, but he's customized it a bit by scribing through that to break it up a little bit, and then also adding this little piece on the top. So it also, I think that helps to make the shoulders look less like a big box on the arms. That's cool. And he's also added this little vent there in the side, which doesn't really fit in the space really well, I think. But once it's painted, I think I might like that more. As it is, it looks a bit awkward as the shape doesn't match. But once it's painted, yeah. I think another thing that you could do, no, maybe not. No. But what you could do is make another layer added onto this. So it's going to be kind of hard to describe what I mean. If I could draw, it'd be easier. But like here on the side of this shoulder part here, let's close this. How basically this inside part of the original shoulder is just like this, just up, across, and down. But the inside, the vent part that he's added from the Freedom Gundam is this hexagonal shape. So what you could do is just using like some like 0.5 millimeter plot plate. Just lay some plot plate here that does match the shape here. So matching the shape here and here over the side of the shoulder. Damn, this is hard to describe what I mean. Put some plot plate here on the side of the shoulder so that it matches the shape of this vent. And then you're only adding a little bit of thickness out to the side of this shoulder, but then you've got the interior shape of that, which will match this vent, if that makes sense. Kind of hard to describe. It would be a lot easier to just like show you to do it, but I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. You guys get what I mean? Add a layer of just thin plot plate on there so that you can cut the inside design. You can cut the inside of the shape to match the vent. I think would be a very easy fix to that, so that that looks better. Would be my advice. But the strike legs do look pretty seamless on there. Looks pretty good. Just it's got the big Shining Gundam parts here added onto the side, and they fit pretty good. Looks well enough on there, like that. And the feet also look all right. This part here on the chest also looks a little bit awkward. I'm not exactly sure how you could go about changing that. Hang on. And this as well too. I think it will probably look better once it's painted. But the part here underneath, you have like the circular part, which is, you want to keep that design aesthetic from the original design. But the part underneath there, it looks like it doesn't fit in there quite right. So maybe adjust that part a little bit more to make it look a bit more natural how this fits into there. Maybe if this lower part was like pushed back in a little bit more, maybe. But I'm not sure. But then I think the top part pointing out too much would be a bit weird. If that was pointing out a lot and then the under part was pushed further back in, maybe it'd be too strange. But you maybe can play with that a little bit to see which would be the best way to kind of make those parts fit together so it looks a bit different. But again, I'm pretty sure that once this is painted, it's going to not look as awkward. And even now, it's not really like throwing me off for the whole build or anything like that. It's just that part underneath the circular part looks stuck in there a little bit odd. But I like where it's going. The idea is good. Mixing those parts of the Freedom Gundam, the Strike Gundam in there, I think that's a pretty good idea. Flow pretty well with the Shining Gundam. So very cool. Looking forward to seeing some more about that in the next episode. Hopefully that'll be done. We can take a look at the finished product in the next episode next month. But I think that's about it for that. It's pretty cool. All right. So, let's see. Yes. Oh, okay. So I think that's it for today, guys. That's all the entries we have for this episode. And just again, if you guys would like to enter something for future episodes, you can check out my Patreon page. The link is down below. Details about that are there. And yeah, we're going to try to have these episodes once a month. And there's not really any schedule as to when it's going to be. Just sometime during each month, whether it's the beginning, middle, or end of the month, just kind of depends. But this one is now, what's the date today? 24th. So probably, would it make sense to have it like next week at the start of September? We'll probably have it around the middle or late of September. So if you're interested in joining and supporting me on Patreon, much appreciated, and get in for the next episode. And we also have our Discord, which is for Patreon supporters as well too. So it's a cool place. Hang out and chat there, and a lot of, like I said, very good modelers there, experienced modelers, many of them better than I am. So it's a good place to hang out, get advice about builds and stuff too. So like I do these episodes, once a month as like a live thing here on my channel, but where people are often, sharing work and getting feedback and stuff around in the Discord as well too. So you don't have to, you're not limited. Like if you're a part of that and, wanting to share your work, more than just whenever these episodes come once a month, the guys are on there sharing their work all the time. So it's cool. Check it out if you're interested. Thank you guys all so much for the support. And also, again, I will just remind you that the streaming schedule for the rest of the streaming for this week is a bit odd, different from my usual time. So just make sure you check the post that I made earlier yesterday about that, about all the times for when I'm scheduled to stream this week. One episode of Plamo No Trend with Josh. That'll be tonight. Early Monday morning for those of you guys if you're in the US. Otherwise, and then the next 2 live stream builds later this week as well, which will also be at night for me, morning for you guys there in the US. Wherever else you are in the world, you can figure out what time that is for you. It'll just be depending on that. But the times are on that image that I posted for my schedule yesterday, so check that. And thanks for hanging out, guys. For those of you guys who submitted your work, thanks as always for your support. Thanks for submitting stuff for us to take a look at today. I really appreciate it, you guys. Awesome stuff. Thanks. We'll see you later. I'm going to go work on some other stuff for now, and I'll see you with Josh later tonight for Plamo No Trend. Bye, guys.